Hey guys, Zealous Talon with the review of the Perfect Grade Gundam, the original Gundam. And this kit is perfect. This is my favorite Perfect Grade kit so far. This beat out the Strike as soon as I was done with it. I was amazed. This thing is loaded with details, and the only complaint I have towards the figure itself really is really the worst thing about this kit is that the eyes aren't the right color. That's the only really bad thing, because they're green instead of yellow, but oh well. You know, but the lighting is still very good. It's better than the Strike. Not quite as good as the Wing Zero, but whatever. The only other minor complaint, I guess, isn't even really valid because the waist doesn't move much because they did put in the core block system. So the armor kind of restricts the plate that the core block attaches to. Now this is a dummy block which has the cockpit oriented, so there's a little figure of Amuro Ray inside you can't really see. And this is actually supposed to be painted to show off mechanical detail, but oh well. This is the block I prefer to have in there because they did also include the core fighter, but I like to display that on its own. And the core fighter does have removable landing gear, and there are cover panels for that. And it does transform into a core block. You just push in the nose, fold in the wings, and then flip it all together. Core block. I like to display this and fiddle around with it every now and then. So this version of the kit is the animation colors with extra weapons. So it's kind of an off-white. You really wouldn't be able to tell with this camera, but it is kind of more of a cream color instead of just plain white like Strike or Wing Zero, or I've heard that the Zeta is like about as white as it gets. The blue is also kind of a bit lighter, and the red is kind of dull as opposed to the really vibrant colors seen on the normal version of the kit. So, and weapons wise, the standard weapons for the kit are the 2 beam sabers with beam blades, the beam rifle, which can kind of fold over to show off the mechanical detail, and the shield, which is really solid feeling. I like that. It's the first shield I've ever built for a kit that actually felt like it would be a shield. This is solid, and it does have a solid window that slides up in front of the clear plastic. The extra weapons the kit comes with are the beam javelin, which attaches to the existing beam saber handles, the Gundam hammer, which has a real metal chain, and the head is plastic though, so you're not tempted to try and break a window with it. Also, this is the only weapon he has that doesn't have pegs in the handle, but because of the anchor grip, he doesn't really need it. And then there's the 2, not just 1 but 2 hyper bazookas, which have the handle pegs oriented so that he can dual wield. One's meant for the left hand, one's for the right. So that's really cool, I'll have pictures of him holding all the weapons at the end. They also come with little shells that can be stored in the barrels. This kit has I was just removing the backpack and the head to get off the collar and the back piece. You can basically get every panel off this thing with a minimum, with just taking those parts off. I actually did strip it to the skeleton and take a picture of it, but a lot of these panels move. Like the backpack can like swivel up and down. The head panels move, obviously, you need them to get to the switch. Shoulders, which show off little pistons. Some of the key joints, like the shoulders, are screwed together, and you can actually adjust the amount of resistance in the joint when you're posing it by tightening or loosening screws, which I thought was kind of cool. That's good for posing when you have them with like an outstretched arm or something. Fingers all move. You know, like I said, the eyes light up. Pretty much everything on this kit moves except for the waist because of the core block, but that's fine. The legs actually have springs in them, like shock absorbers. Like, yeah, it's cool. Thrusters move. The feet are like solid. They actually have like, this isn't colored in detail. These are actually like thruster nozzle pieces in the foot, which is pretty cool. Plenty of chrome piston parts in the joints, like the elbow and the knee. All sorts of panels move up. There's, you know, the little cockpit door. If I can just get it to stick, you can see that moves. Vents in the chest move. Some of the moving panels are really cool, like on the forearm here, there's on the forearm and on the calf there's verniers hidden under some of the panels, which I always think any kind of detail like that is super, super cool. Yeah. I really, really like this kit. I'm really astonished by it. I kind of got, because even this version with the extra stuff is pretty budget as far as perfect grade kits go. Like the only things cheaper are the standard version and the Zaku, the two different Zaku versions. And I guess technically the Skygrasper with the Ale Striker is, but that's not really meant to be a standalone kit. That's meant to go with the Strike, so I don't really count that. I kind of thought it was going to be like kind of more stiff or like fragile or just have way more screws than it did. Like I was kind of expecting it to be like the Wing Zero, honestly, but it's really good. This is just a really solid, durable kit. You know, no die-cast parts, yet it feels way more stable and secure than the Wing Zero, or, you know, it almost feels stronger than the Strike, I gotta say. You know, I'm not saying push it off the shelf, you know, or drop it 3 feet, but it could probably take a little more punishment than some of the other kits can. Just loads and loads of detail on it. I love this thing a lot more than I thought I would, which is always awesome. Oh, there's storage on the back for the shield, I might want to point out, and the rear skirt can. There's a panel that slides up so you can store the beam rifle and hyper bazooka. Well, either hyper bazooka, but that's also really cool. I usually have him with a hyper bazooka on his back, but really, really excellent figure. I mean, not quite as flexible as the Strike, but really, how dynamically are you going to pose these anyway? You still got to keep them balanced, right? Yeah, I highly, highly recommend this kit, especially for the price. Just comparing it to some of the other kits, for the price, it's a real bargain. You definitely get this kit if you're building at the perfect grade level, and if you still haven't gotten a Gundam, like a version of the original Gundam, definitely get this one. Alright, peace out everybody.